Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we are talking about Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. This is the latest documentary about Christopher Reeve and his life after his really tragic accident that left him fully paralyzed as a quadriplegic. I was really personally interested in seeing this film because, as anyone who's watched the channel for any amount of time knows, that I'm not only a huge movie fan, but a big comic book fan as well. I actually have a little thing of Christopher Reeve as Superman right behind me. I love that film growing up as a kid. I was a huge fan of Superman 2. I remember discovering about the Donner cut when I was a preteen or early high school and really getting excited about it and getting to watch it, because I didn't learn about it until a couple years after it happened. And as someone who not only just loved him as Superman, but thought he was a very interesting and great actor in some of his other projects like Noise Is Off, I was really interested in seeing this documentary, very personally, emotionally invested in seeing it, and my God, I don't think I've ever cried harder in a movie. Maybe one or two other movies have made me cry as hard as this. It's definitely the most I've ever cried during a documentary. I cried more in this than I cried in the Mr. Rogers one, and I thought I could not top that. This film tells such a beautiful story and shows such a heartbreaking thing happening to someone that you really look up to. It's very hard to see. But seeing the passion, the strength, the resilience, even seeing some mistakes that were made by him, it really does a great job telling the whole story. It's a very well-edited documentary and just emotional from the time it starts to the time it ends. I don't want to give away anything specific about his story since, that's kind of the documentary's job, in case you don't know that information. But what I will say is something that I was really pleased to see in the documentary, because 90% of it focuses on Christopher Reeve and his life, especially his life post-accident. A good portion of it shows just what a fantastic person that Dana Reeve was. And, seeing a good chunk with her was really nice to see. It kind of completed that story, and even showing that the foundation, the Christopher Reeve Foundation, eventually became the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, and for good reason. My only real complaint with the documentary is that it did end rather suddenly. When the ending happened, I thought the ending was starting. Like we were about to get the last 20 minutes or so, and it ended up just ending. And I was like, oh, okay, it's been an hour 47 minutes. I could have watched an easy 2-hour plus documentary. It was very captivating. Something that is a positive for me, but might be a negative for some viewers, is that it does tell the story non-linearly. It jumps back and forth pre and post accident. I thought it worked really well for the film because it really tonally allowed you to alleviate moments of sadness with moments of heart, positive and negative. I think had you told it linearly and it went from this really great story to just being sad for the last hour, it really wouldn't have worked in that way. So I think this personally was the right way to tell it, but I know there might be some people who were turned off by that. And as somebody who had someone who was not quadriplegic but paraplegic in my family, as well as an old friend who is a paraplegic, seeing everything that Christopher and Dana Reeve did for the disabled community was really touching. In the theater that I saw it in, there were people in wheelchairs in the handicap row who were watching the movie and very emotionally moved as well, and that was also very touching to see. And redefining, I think the thesis of the movie and the thesis of Christopher Reeve is kind of redefining what it means to be a hero and showing what a true hero looks like. And it's not Superman, it's Christopher Reeve. And the movie makes a very good distinction that they're not the same person. It was very interesting to see Christopher Reeve talk about how kind of when people approached him and said that they loved him as Superman, he always loved it. But when the industry would treat him as only Superman, that's where it would hurt him. And seeing that story unfold was very fascinating, and how it eventually all tied into his changing perspectives on life after the accident. Again, I don't want to dive into it too much because I want you to watch it. This movie does open wide October 11th. That's very exciting. And I'm sure not long after that, it'll be on a streaming service, probably Max because it's Warner Brothers. So whenever you get the chance to watch this film, I highly encourage you to do so. It's a beautiful documentary that is very emotionally moving and tells an incredible story of heroics. That's it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.